Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Garfield Heights City School District Special Board Meeting. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. I call tonight's meeting to order. Mr. Superintendent, can I have a roll call, please?
Yep. Judy? Here. Ms. King?
Here.
Ms. Morrison?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Ennis?
Here. Can I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? Second. Mr. Saluka, that was moved by Mr. Judy and second by Ms. King. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Judy?
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? Ms. Ennis?
Yes. The item on our agenda this evening for this work session is the superintendent search forms. The purpose of our meeting this evening for us to have discussion relative to the presentations that we had during our work session last Monday, for the purposes of deciding which contract, if any, will be on tonight's agenda for both. Is there any comments of the board at this time?
I do have a few. I contacted four different districts that use finding leaders. North Carrollton came back to me. I talked to Rick Green from CDCC. He said they were okay, good. And Mayfield City Schools gave a resounding yes. Then I looked at OSBA's. Actually, you can help me out. I don't think Dr. Selena Robeck is there anymore.
At OSBA?
No, at ESC. No, I'm sorry, CDC. So that concerns me that OSBA would put a reference on there, but she's no longer there. So those were the four I contacted. I didn't go any farther because just about every other one in OSBA is south of Columbus, or thereabouts, or west, far west, except for Wardsville Heights. And I did call there, and that Mimi Gator is no longer there either. Or they changed their number, we're gonna give it. So if I had to make a choice, it sounds like finding leaders would be a better fit for us just on their feedback I got from different.
President, Ms. King, I did speak to several districts at last week's Northeast Ohio, OSBA, basic, and half the people indicated OSBA would be a good choice, and the other half said find a leader. Would be the same reasons that we discussed at our last meeting when we had the presentations that I was. So I'm very happy. Thank you, Ms. Brown. Is there any other comments regarding the selection we have? I also had an opportunity to speak with a few board members with districts that have done superintendent searches, and I did find for our region, finding leaders is kind of trending as the best option for our region, along with just some information that I acquired before in their presentation. Although they are priced, there's a significant price difference. I do believe that it's important for us to invest in the firm that's going to suit the needs of our district best. And I do believe that with the makeup of our current board, I think it's very important for us to have support of a firm in order to support us in selecting a new superintendent that will meet the needs of our school district and also the strategic plan that we have set in place for the Garfield Heights School District. So if there's, with the feedback, excuse me, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
if there's no more discussion, I don't know, Al, if it's appropriate for me to make a motion.
We can do that now if you want, or we could put it on the agenda for the regular meeting by doing an adoption of a agenda revision, if you'd like. I have
Whatever the board prefers.
resolutions ready to go. I mean, not resolution, but motions to go for each of the firms.
I'm going to making that, I'm glad that you mentioned how I wasn't a part of the discussion last time, and just kind of if you could share with us, once we make this decision, what the process would be and what was your experience in supporting the board in the past when it came to superintendent search.
Real quick, I followed through with the first search that after Dr. Sternad left, and they OSBA did the search, and this is just my experience with OSBA, is they brought a lot of individuals in, but what I didn't like about OSBA is they did all the weeding out of the candidates and brought the candidates that they thought would that they selected, which this is a long time ago, and this is with Cheryl Ryan, but I thought the candidates, they weren't even going to look at any internals and kind of like force the internals in. And I thought they brought candidates in from our area all over the state that had connections to OSBA versus local candidates or viable candidates that knew our district. That being said, that was a long, long time ago. The searches all have been internal since, with the board just taking with the last one being when Linda left, Mr. Oshesky, and they did the internal application process where we advertised, kind of knowing, and then the last one, Mr. Hankey, was internal. But in doing a full-blown search, I'm a firm believer that you need with finding leaders and knowing them. They go out and recruit the candidates that I think would best fit what the board wants for the district, not what OSBA wants or any ties, but what the board wants. And I think the biggest thing is I like for both search firms is that they come in and they ask you, what are you looking for in a superintendent? And then they will go out and actually find those candidates that meet your requirements of what you're looking for versus just anybody that's interested in the job and then reading. That's just my take. And yes.
Just a reminder for the board, we did, as a board, we requested that all internal candidates be interviewed, but we did have external candidates come in and be interviewed also.
Yes, I think I recall you saying that, like you guys, no matter who it was, you did give all internal candidates the privilege of an interview and consideration.
Which is kind of good business practice.
Absolutely. So thank you, Al, for sharing that with the board. Anyone have any questions of Mr. Saluka? So if there are no questions of Mr. Saluka and moving forward, what was your recommendation as it relates to?
You could do I would probably ask that we put it, you could make, the board can make a motion at any time to approve the firm. It doesn't, if a board member first and second said you can make a motion any time to approve the firms. So you can do it right now, or you can wait to the regular meeting. You can adjust the agenda and put it in under recommendations from the Board of Education and then approve it that way. It's really at the board's discretion.
I recommend that we move and go on in this section,
okay,
so that we don't have to modify our regular board meeting.
Therefore, Madam President, I make a motion to hire finding leaders to conduct our superintendent.
Oh, and here's the wording that I have, and we don't.
Okay,
I mean, the
you're
most. No, just
probably
sorry.
better
No,
than me.
it's right on. But I have a motion to approve an agreement between Finding Leaders and the Garfield Heights City Schools to provide consulting services to the Board of Education in their effort to fill the superintendent's vacancy as presented.
That's what I meant to say.
You absolutely were right on. I knew
That's what
that.
I heard.
And as part of that, I will put this up in board docs, and what we will do is when we say as presented, I will put a copy of the unsigned agreement in there so everybody knows what services as a public document, and I can put that in there.
Second. I second. Mr. Shalika, that motion was moved by Mr. Judy and second by Ms. King. Can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Juby,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels.
At this time, can I have a motion to adjourn tonight's work session, please? So moved. That was moved by Mr. Judy and second by Ms. Thomas. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Juby,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes. Tonight's, work session, special board meeting is adjourned at 5:42 p.m. Good evening and welcome to the Garfield Heights City School District regular board meeting. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. Calling tonight's meeting to order. Mr. Saluka, can I have roll call, please?
Yes.
Here.
Ms. King,
Here.
Ms. Morrison,
Here.
Ms. Thomas,
Here.
Mrs. Daniels.
Here. Can I have a motion to adopt the minutes? In a second. Second. Mr. Saluka, that was moved by Mr. Juby and second by Ms. Morrison. Can I have roll call, please?
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. At this time, we will have a moment of silence. And after the moment of silence, we will be led with the pledge of allegiance by board member Morrison this evening. Moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for February 15th, 22nd, and 28th? So. Mr. Saluka, that was moved by Mr. Judy and second by Ms. Thomas. Can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Jim,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas, Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. Good evening and welcome to tonight's board meeting. I'll begin my report with praise for our parents, families, students, and staff of the Garfield Heights City Schools, who have worked tirelessly over the last 24 months in demonstrating resilience, empathy, and strength during the COVID pandemic. We all will take a significant step forward on March 28th, when upon returning from spring break, the Bulldog family will return to a mask optional environment. If you feel the need to continue wearing a mask, you have the freedom to do so. However, those desiring to be mask-free will have the ability to do so. Thank you all for helping us to navigate through these trying waters. In addition, families are encouraged to help prepare their students for the upcoming testing season. Continuing to provide a nurturing environment, ensuring proper rest and sleep habits, positive self-talk, healthy meals, and more have all been proven ways to help further success during these stressful times for students. I thank the teachers who remain diligent in their quest for academic success and the students during their upcoming testing season. You all will do great. Since our last meeting, many of our winter athletes and co-curricular participants ended their winter season. On behalf of the Board of Education, we commend those student participants for their commitment to hard work, sacrifice, teamwork, and leadership during these endeavors. Families sacrifice a great deal as well to ensure success, and we thank the coaches and advisors for their mentorship to our students. Thank you all for being representatives of the Garfield Heights City Schools. Our highly successful Music Express team was recently interviewed by Channel 3 News and will be included in an upcoming documentary. Congratulations to the very talented high schoolers who spent countless hours training, perfecting their song and dance capabilities, and performing in competitions. More information will be shared in the future regarding how our community can watch our Music Express team be highlighted. Congratulations to all. Finally, I want to commend my colleague and board vice president, Millette King, who along with me attended the recent Ohio School Board Association's Northeast Regional Spring Conference. This ongoing professional development helps to ensure that we as board members are receiving the training and up-to-date matters of importance from our state school board association. I was also honored to have received the Star Award for training, and I thank the association for the honor. When accolades such as this are presented to any of our board members, the entire school district benefits so that we can be better public servants for the community. Thank you for your continued support of the Garfield Heights City School District, and this concludes my report this evening. The next item on our agenda are committee reports. Are there any reports this evening?
Madam President,
Ms. King?
I have a community and family engagement liaison report. At the February 28th City Council meeting, City Council voted to repeal the Community Relations Committee. Also at this meeting, Sherry Thomas spoke about the Southeast Community Coalition that she is coordinating with the cities of Maple Heights, Bedford Heights, Warrensville, and Garfield Heights to address the mental health challenges that our communities have experienced due to the stressors resulting from COVID. The first meeting was held on March 15th, 2022. I was unable to attend, however, I had a one-on-one meeting with Ms. Thomas on March 8th to learn more about the goals of the coalition. The coalition is in its infancy stage and she is seeking support from all communities. The next City Council meeting is next Monday, March 28th at 7 p.m. in Council Chambers. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. King. Is there any other reports this evening? Madam President, I have a wellness liaison report. Ms. Nelson?
There was a highly attended winter sports banquet on March 15th. The spring sports practices and scrimmages have started. The number of spring sports athletes is lower than normal, with many athletes not able to compete due to a lack of an OHSAA physical. Our Music Express show choir continues to win group and individual awards. And some of the individual awards are Best Female Soloist for Desire Goodwin, Best Male Soloist for Willie Rose, and Best Performance Awards were won by Michaela Svoboda, Shadera Udebula, and Valerie Ortiz. And then the major recent purchases include middle school baseball and softball supplies and winter awards. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Are there any other reports this evening? Ms. Thomas?
My first report is for the Taiwan Valley Solicitor. The CCC board met on February 4th. Had a brief discussion about the return of summer camp and using that as a tool for recruitment. We reviewed our annual bullying and harassment report. We had a presentation from our HVAC program and the amazing things that they are doing. We also got an invitation to the National Technical Honor Society induction ceremony being held on April 6th. Our student connection highlighted Zion Elephant, a Garfield Heights junior who was in the graphic imaging technology program. Zion is a member of Students of Promise and he enjoys playing video games and spending time with his friends. He hopes to be a video game designer in his future. I would also like to congratulate the students who attended the Health Occupation Students of America competitive event. The following students placed in their competition: Meredith Child, Talia Pilley, Morgan Rosello, Montanese Robinson, and Anasia Smith. All of those students, they were also the only students who went from Garfield Heights. There were also 4 students who attended the Business Professionals of America regional contest. They also all placed in their contest. Those students were Mila Bridges, Sophia Faison, Calvin Kutcher, and Isabella Torres. That concludes my CDC report. My second report is for the Legislative Committee. The legislative committee meeting that was scheduled for today has been rescheduled to next Tuesday, March 29th. We will continue discussing the final details of the Heart and Soul event. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Is there any other reports this evening? Question in regards to the wellness report and some of the students not being able to participate due to not having the physicals. Do we know why the students didn't have physicals? And is there a barrier that the board can help eliminate by partnering with a clinic or?
So I'm not sure why they're not getting physicals if they don't have doctors. But I do know, that Dale stated, or I'm sorry, one of the track coaches stated that WellCare right here is doing $25 physicals for our athletes. If, we do have athletes who want to go and take those forms and get them filled out, it's just $25 right here.
Mr. Fresno is looking into bringing a doctor in for the springtime to get physicals that would carry students over for the entire year. So we're looking into it, various reasons that you guys just alluded to, why students are not getting them, either can't afford or parents can't take. And so we're trying to eliminate that so that we can increase participation for next school year.
Thank you.
Yep.
If I may also add, I know that with working a little bit with the middle school girls basketball coach, they also faced that same issue with girls not being able to.
That sounds great because they're getting
Do both for middle school and high school.
Just a question for you, Mr. Pat, the company that we utilize for our school nurse, is it possible to provide those types of resources?
I don't know yet. It's just all actually transparent. For spring break. So there was a conversation and they're working on it. So hopefully by our April board meeting, we'll have more details and I'll be able to update the board at the time.
Regarding maybe for this evening? If there's no more questions regarding committee reports, we will move to our presentation. This evening, we have a presentation from Mr. Hankton and Mr. Kaluga regarding the middle school and the athletic facility update. Mr. Hankton?
Thank you, President Daniels. What we did is, thanks, Mr. Saluka, for updated our part of our spreadsheet for our strategic plans to indicate what action steps have been taken to further the work at the middle school and possibly the athletic complex. The first thing we did was we did engage TDA, and they're now kind of acting as consultants, helping us with our architect, and they're helping us with construction for. And now you want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure. And we'll go down. The hard part is we're going down dual paths here. One is the funding piece for the middle school. The other is actually the construction piece. So they're actually side by side. So I'll talk about a little bit of the funding piece. Is that right now we have two pots that we're trying to look at for the middle school. One is utilizing the ESSER monies that we have for middle school, and the other one of which we can only use for HVAC and COVID related, and we've identified that. The other one is to address those other pieces, such as even building a new middle school. So we're currently going down two paths. Right now, we're concentrating on what's available with ESSER, getting that portion of the project done, and Mr. Hankey will talk about that. The other one is the other funding piece, working through OFCC. I'm possibly doing something with them. That way, we can either, if we partner with OFCC, we can do either a bond issue or go on the ballot to address the non-ESSER eligible portions of the middle school, which is basically probably building a new middle school, which we talked about before. So we're working with, right now we're working with OFCC. We have put in the application of which the board approved for the EL program. the expedited local partnership. We've also completed that they have an enrollment questionnaire that we completed back in January. So right now, the ball is in their court. They have to do their study of all our buildings, available space. They have this mathematical formula of everything that we have to jump through hoops to see if we can partner with them. We're still waiting on them. They say it won't be April or May. We're kind of hesitant right now. We'll just say that there might not be an opportunity to work with OFCC. So we're looking at other options, and we have a meeting with our financial advisor, Squire Patton Boggs, and our bond people on Thursday to talk about if it doesn't work with OFCC, what's our alternative funding for this? How would that work? That meeting comes up on Thursday. So we're going to be meeting with them. Let's take the other tack of construction and where we're at today. Was that? Oh, absolutely. I'll take that one.
So the thought is, again, to provide the board, is to take the gymnasium and band areas and bring them up to date, and then build a new academic wing like phase 2. We have to probably block for time. The ESSER money, we're going to be able to make that area independent of the rest of the building, HVAC, so the air conditioned and heating. Also replacing, possibly ceilings, some wall issues, a lot of mechanical things to get ready. And then the thought is that we can start that process with construction this summer. Right now, today, actually, we were interviewing construction firms, right?
But we were starting that. Sorry, we were starting that process. It was called. We're going down the path of it's called construction manager at risk. So what they're doing is they'll partner with the architectural firm, and they will go side by side looking at our middle school currently for the gymnasium, and then they will start to visualize exactly what is needed to do just that portion along with our architect. So they work side by side at getting that portion of the building done. So they're taking a lot of the risk on. That's why it's called construction manager at risk. So we just started that process. We advertised for a statement of qualifications. We got those in right before I left for vacation. So Chris, Sean, and I, along with TDA and David Riley, turned that down to 4 firms. And you can see in the second to last row, if you go all the way across to the second, to the last column on the right, there's a time frame for interviewing, getting all the documentation, having them come in, and I'll let Mr. Hankey go through exactly what that process is over. Sure, right there.
So today we interviewed 4 firms, and after each interview, they went down and toured. And that's how they put their proposals together. After that, they then put together a presentation for central office and our construction attorney, David Riley, and TDA. And among those 4 firms, that group decides who to.
Right, and we will have a rubric, a scoring rubric, which is going to be qualifications, design ideas, and then the other part of the rubric is going to be pricing. So we'll have that rubric in place to grade out the top 4. But just to say for the board, we have out of the 6 firms that sent in a statement of qualification, we have 4 high quality firms. We're pretty lucky that way that made it through to this round going forward. So we're pretty excited about that. Like I said, today was a meet and greet, and each firm was very impressive. So that process is going down the road, and we hope to have, and I think we're going to have a recommendation for the board at the April meeting. And when we do have a recommendation, the firm was told today that they will also need to do a presentation for the board at that time. Successful firm, so you'll know who they are and what they're all about too. So we're moving forward with that piece. So the other question you want to ask is, why are we just concentrating ESSER money on just the gym and the band, the music room, I'm sorry, it's not just band, the music room is because if we use ESSER money for any other portion of the middle school, if we end up building a new middle school, it would be just wasted money. So that's right now why we're concentrating, because we know we're gonna, as part of that project, to keep costs down, we're just concentrating on the gymnasium and music room portion. So we know that we're gonna keep that to go. So then we will save the lesser money for maybe new construction down the road and maybe pare down what we need to borrow in the long run. But that's why we're not using it on the rest of the building at this time. So that's kind of where we're at. We're moving down the road. And if you want to talk about the phase 2, we call this phase 1. Phase 2 will be addressing the rest of the middle school. And also part of phase 2, when we told these firms today, part of phase 2 will also be including the athletic complex
At the high school.
at the high school.
Gym, track, I mean,
Right.
we need track, we don't have one.
Yeah.
We just need a modern, so.
So that-
I mean, who's leading?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so that's
Yeah.
so we call this right now phase 1 that we're looking at, and then phase 2. And we also think the CMR, construction manager at risk, if they do a good job for us, they'll automatically just roll into phase 2 when that comes. Which is just so that's a good thing. So they'll know the project, so we don't have to get to somebody new, and just we can keep flowing with what we're trying to do to address the middle school and the athletic complex.
Phase 2 is predicated on a possible bond issue.
Well, bond issue or other type of financing that we can get that will meet our needs. But that's a discussion we're going to have on Thursday with our financial people.
Can
So
I
that's-
say something, Madam President? And this goes to the public, I guess. I don't understand if we're going to have all these extracurricular activities, athletics, that we don't give our students the best facilities possible. The last time we put something on the ballot, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Al, was it $24 a month? Or $24 a year?
It was 20. It was I want to say it was like $23 a month. You're right.
Okay, so you skip Starbucks 4 times.
Yeah.
And you can do it. I just don't understand the mentality of the district, not the district, the residents.
Well, we were hoping when this is all said and done that we put together and not just, Mr. Newton, you're correct, but not just a athletic complex, but an academic building too, that will meet, the needs of the community, a true middle school, along with all the amenities of the middle school that doesn't have now. And let's just call it what it is. The air conditioning is a big piece of that. But it is also, it was built in '62 as a high school. A lot of things have changed in the educational programming. So it's, so we think that we're working towards a couple of areas where the public will be pretty supportive. And we're actually meeting the needs, both the academic and athletic needs of our students in the coming years.
So that's where we are right now. We're very diligent and keep moving through these steps to make sure that we can get something moving in the summer. And it might just be a minimal amount of work, but we're talking about some minimal amount, you won't see it, but like we're talking about steel supports for HVAC systems and stuff that has to be done, and kind of the really infrastructure pieces. And we did tell all the firms, one of the caveats is that there will be students in those areas during their construction piece, whether they want to do something on a third shift or, or go and like work summers. They're kind of looking at that for their proposals. I've been in facilities where construction's happening while school's taking place. It can be challenging, but it does work. And just so you have to kind of be patient. Go through the process and be better afterwards.
Any questions regarding tonight's presentation?
Is there an expiration date?
Yes, ESSER 2 needs to be spent by 2023, the fall, and ESSER 3 needs to be spent by the fall of 2024. And ESSER 1 needed to be spent by this fall, but we've spent it all. So we made that a requirement.
President, on, piggybacking on Ms. Thomas's question, we have to, we have to spend ESER 2 before we start spending ESER 3.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's like,
Yes. And that's, and just to follow, and the jog note, and just to follow up is that we have already budgeted ESER 2 and ESER 3 money. That's not taking away all the other programming that we're using the ESER money for. So we're keeping the educational programming intact with that ESER funding that we currently have. And it's just like, so we built this in as part of the budget for the ESER 2 and ESER 3 moving forward, the availability. So it's not like we're moving all ESER just to the building projects.
I think we were able to earmark enough to do a good job of updating that facility. Think about it, you know, that facility, this is just editorial. We've got to put some money in here. It's one of the larger middle schools around. So, you know, we thought after a lot of conversations, what was it?
Well, can you remind me, approximately how much we actually allocated, of the ESER funds for this project?
Yeah, we allocated like, I think 2.6 million of ESER 2 and roughly around, I want to say 12 million for ESER 3. Look that up quick and I can get that the exact numbers as we move forward.
And, I guess just for the public's sake, it's just how vital is it and what impact is it gonna have on our students academically for us to really invest in, replacing these facilities in our district?
So, and this was 7 or 8 years ago during my superintendent's licensure classes. There's actually one of the classes is facility. It's really neat to get to tour into a facility. The newer middle schools are completely designed completely different from that building because what they're looking at is a lot of shared learning space. So, for example, you would have a 6th grade wing possibly with maybe 4 classes in the common, 4 classes in the common. And it's designed so if you look at Maple Heights, really is a good one to look at because their student population is relatively equal to ours in terms of who they have in the building. So you have your academic areas that are kind of separated out 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and wing. It's kind of circular. And then the specials that you can throughout the middle part of the building. So in case really a PBIS program is see you have a collaborative learning among students. That's the other piece. There are a few of these around the area. And it's a little older, but North Royalton was one of the first ones that kind of looked at it. And it's about, or not, it's almost 15 years old, but it's kind of that first concept where they did the middle school concept. Bay Villages is probably about 20 years old, the same kind of thing. Rocky River. And now some of the other districts are catching up with that. So obviously our current design is just 3 hallways. Yeah. The old factory model.
I think, just as a comment relative to our facilities, especially as a district that is looking at things through an equity lens, I think it's very important that all of our students have like equitable learning environments where our buildings and our facilities should be comparable, and also just work environments for our staff, where teachers have the same capacity and amenities to instruct the students. So the middle school appears to me as a gap. It's not comparable to our other buildings and the other settings that we have in our district. And so even as we're looking at things like equity lens and just looking at our facilities and what's available and all students, no matter what grade they're in our district, have a comparable learning environment. It seems like the middle school may be our gap in that area. Just so the public understands that I would like for all of our students to have comparable learning environments, and even with our extracurriculars. We value that even in our strategic plan with our wellness pillar, and we do understand the impact that the extracurricular activities have on our students, academics, and just them being whole and preparing them for a global society. So I just kind of wanted to add that comment. And if there's no other comments, I do thank both of you for this presentation this evening. I look forward to our school district moving forward with this. And I can honestly say that I have faith in our community to support our school districts. And as members of the Board of Education and our community, it's just up to us to do the work to make sure that we get the buy-in of our neighbors and our friends and our community members to help them understand the importance of supporting the scholars in the Garfield Heights City School.
No, I was corrected. It's 12 million for ESSER 3 and 2.6 million for ESSER 2 right now.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. The next item on our agenda this evening is our superintendent's report. Mr. Hanky.
Thank you, President Daniels, and members of the board. On behalf of the Garfield Heights City Schools, I hope everyone enjoys a safe and enjoyable spring break. When staff and students return on March 28th, the Garfield Heights City Schools will do so in a maskless environment for the first time in nearly 2 years. This means that masks will be optional for all individuals who enter district facilities. This also means that the Garfield Heights City Schools will no longer be required to provide masks. In addition, the Ohio Department of Health officially eased the order requiring case reporting and notification regarding COVID-19 cases in K-12 schools effective Thursday, March 10th, 2022. Schools are no longer required to maintain a system for reporting COVID cases, have a designated COVID-19 coordinator, notify parents of positive cases among students and staff, or report positive cases to local health departments. On behalf of everyone in this district, thank you to everyone for your patience and understanding during the last several years during the pandemic environment. Also, I'd like to personally thank Mr. Patton, who was our COVID-19 coordinator and our liaison with the Ohio Department of Health and the various authorities, who was in charge of a lot of the reporting and trying to figure out logistics and things that changed sometimes daily. So it was an interesting environment. Together we persevered and we have weathered the storm like true bulldogs. I thank the individuals who attended our kindergarten information night, Wednesday, March 16th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at the high school. Please remember that students who turn 5 years old on or before August 1st of this year are eligible to register for kindergarten next school year. These in-person registration opportunities can be scheduled by contacting the Garfield Heights City Schools at 216-475-8100 and will take place in the Capadonna room at the middle school, Monday, April 4th through Thursday, April 7th, 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., and Monday, April 11th through Thursday, April 14th from 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Please remember, these are in-person and adult-only registration appointments. Congratulations to our winter sport student. Let me make a caveat up there. If parents do we are allowing students and children back into our facilities now, so they can come with their kids again. Congratulations to our winter sports student athletes for completing their season recently, and to the coaches and advisors who take the time and talent to motivate our children. Our student athletes demonstrate a considerable amount of leadership, and we congratulate them on another season of success. Spring sport competitions are about to begin in the next several weeks, and we wish our spring sport participants and coaches all the best. Thank you, Madam President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Hanky. Any questions? I have one question regarding when we still, when the nurses still on like the checklist for symptoms, like if kids required to be out or get in.
We'll continue to monitor students and make phone calls. Report down at the clinic hill, and then they'll contact the district nurses. We have 2 that work in the district, so they'll coordinate from there and just continue to monitor if they need to.
We still have a great number of at-home COVID tests, because they get kind of at the tail end of this thing. So those are only parents can take those stuff if they want to. Certainly, and if you need them, let your home school know, we'll get them to you. We got a stockpile.
At this time, we have remarks from the public regarding agenda items. Are there any remarks this evening regarding agenda items, Mr. Stewart?
President Daniels, no one signed up for agenda items.
Our next item on the agenda, can I have a motion?
Wait a minute.
That was moved by Mr. Judy, second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion relative to board financial reports for this month, or Mr. Stewart, or any highlights you'd like to share with you?
I just have actually a few highlights. One is I had to make numerous adjustments to the financials this month to coincide with the new fair school funding plan amounts. The biggest one is that previous month, we put it all into unrestricted grants, but a lot of it we had to move and wipe out the tuition that was paid in the previous month because the board now took that over. So we moved some of that from revenue and we eliminated the tuition amount. So that kind of like skewed a little bit the purchase service expenditures. But we pretty much are caught up there. And so those are the type of adjustments. And then the other thing I'd like to highlight is our second advance was a little bit lower than estimated, but we're still waiting for the final settlement to see if we came in on target for our appropriations. So those are the two areas that I wanted to highlight as we move forward.
One question, I noticed in the notation, you have something about the sports account and the board needing to make a decision relative to that.
Yes.
What can we expect for that to come before the board?
I was thinking that we probably need to do something at the next meeting, something in April. Since we're down to high school, I think Mr. Chris Nowick could hopefully maybe do a quick brief presentation, and it's just more of just where we're at. I can get the exact amount of what we've accomplished this year. It was and I'm saying because of the limited number of spectators were COVID and everything else, the revenue wasn't generated enough. And I think a lot of it too, just in preparation for our season, we were lucky enough to have enough security, but security costs money for these events. And so it's so exactly. So they, but this year I think that he could do his presentation in April, as long as the board could approve something by fiscal year end, eliminate the deficit. That's the actual legal requirements. So I mean, that's just on the Maggie and we talk about getting maybe they'll do a quick thing at the April meetings. Just talk about maybe the sports program that throughout the year and what's going on.
I think that Bill presenting next month would be a very good idea.
I agree. Do you want to make the work session or the actual meeting?
There is no work session next month because it's the day after Easter. So we moved the regular meeting to April 11th. Right.
Okay. Mr. Schuster, if there's no more comments and discussion, can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Judy,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes. At this time, can I have a motion to approve personnel agenda items?
Madam President, moving away items 11, 18.2.
Items 11 through items 18.2 was moved and waived by Mr. Judy. Is
there a second on that motion?
Can I, just before we approve that, can we just, Mr. Juby, can we just go to 15.1
Yeah, no
for that
problem.
approval?
No problem at all.
Thank you, 11 through 15,
Do I need to remake the motion then?
if you would.
Madam President, I'd like to make the motion 11, waive items 11 to 15.1.
Motion. Item, I number 10, is there a second on that motion? Mr. Schuler, was moved by Mr. Kennedy, second by Ms. Thomas. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, can I roll call, please?
Mr. Juby,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas, Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. Item number 16, this evening, we have on our agenda the first reading of the equity policy that was developed by the Board of Education.
There's no action on number 16. It's just the first.
Okay.
So it's just the first reading, and this policy will it be available for the public to read in detail during the reading portion on our board docs? Correct?
Yeah, President Daniels, it's up right now, so the public can.
Right. I just want to share the purpose of this equity policy is to achieve educational equity by establishing expectations related to the identification and elimination of disparities in education outcomes. The board in this policy, as you will see, we focused on 3 areas, and that was academic achievement and growth, school climate, and culture affecting student success. And the third area was staff capacity for educational equity. This is the first reading tonight. You can find this in detail on our website. Can I now have a motion?
Madam President, move to waive items 17 to 18.
There was a motion to move and waive item 17 to item 18.2. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Suluka, that motion was made by Mr. Juby, and that was second by Ms. King. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion on the motions on the table, can I have roll call, please?
Mr. Juby,
Yes.
Ms. King,
Yes.
Ms. Morrison,
Yes.
Ms. Thomas,
Yes.
Mrs. Daniels.
Yes. Mr. Suluka, do we have any comments from the public regarding miscellaneous school items?
We have one person signed up, Ms. Wanda.
All meetings of the board and board appointing committees are open to the public. In order for the board to fulfill its obligation to complete the planned agenda in an effective and efficient fashion, a maximum of 30 minutes of public participation may be permitted at each meeting. Each person addressing the board shall give his or her name and address. If several people wish to speak, each person is allotted 3 minutes until the time of 30 minutes is used. During the period, no person may speak twice until all who desire to speak have had the opportunity to do so. Persons desiring more time should follow the procedure of the board to be placed on the regular agenda. The period of public participation may be extended by a vote of the majority of the board present and voting. Ms. Wonderstock, good evening.
Joni Wanderstock, 10905 Mountview Avenue, Brooklyn. It's been a while since I've spoken at a board meeting. I'm looking for the podium, so I don't want to have my back to everybody. I had the pleasure of knowing Bob Dobies for about 30 years, so I was happy to read in the board minutes last month that you had dedicated this room to him, and deservingly so. This room naming also brought to mind a few others that I've been actually wanting to address for some time now, and I think the timing is right to do that tonight. And looking around the room, I think there's only 2 other people that would be aware of what I feel so compelled to share with the board. One of the perks of being in this district for over 35 years. If you've worked at the middle school or been there when it was a high school, I'm sure you are familiar with the room, the Capadonna room. Well, what I'm also not quite sure you're aware of is that it was named after an amazing man, father, and grandfather of students in this district. Cappy, as we lovingly refer to, spent, I'm estimating, thousands of his own money to renovate the room in the basement of the middle school. At the time of its completion, it was a state-of-the-art conference room that was used pretty much on a weekly basis for various meetings throughout the district. There was a label on the door and a plaque inside its walls. Unfortunately, however, for years, this room became everything it was not intended to be. A wrestling practice room, a room where football players threw their dirty equipment, and a storage room have been just a few of its usages over the years. For those of us that knew Cappy, this was really heartbreaking to see. Although it has been cleared out at this time, I wonder what happened to its label. Two of the rooms that I know were also dedicated to special individuals were the library at Maple Leaf, which was named after John Geraci, another former school board member, and the father of Debbie Wren, who's a teacher of Bloom Foster. Then there was the committee ran by parent Denise Vlasic, who orchestrated the naming of the middle school library after another former high school graduate and an educated administrator in this district for over 3 decades, Marlon Hamish. Although I have not been in Maple Leaf Library for years, the last time I was there, I did not see his plaque. And there was a plaque that was the Bear John's likeness, and the middle school also had a plaque honoring Marlene. Now I know for a fact that one is not there because I asked about it years ago. As an educator, I would also like to see that library come back. All 3 of these room dedications were board approved, and thus I'm sure that their minutes are in the archives of past board meetings. While some may think this is no big deal, it really is a big deal. I know this to be true on a personal basis, as shortly after my dad died, Cornell University dedicated his classroom to him. Not only was this a huge honor for my family, but it was also very meaningful for those that knew and loved him, and a truly beautiful tribute to his memory. I'm sharing all this with the board in the hope that you can resurrect these plaques and give those they represent the credit that they earned, and just like Bob Bilby deserved. I think it's a respectful and right thing to do. As I tell students every year when I have the privilege of making a presentation at Senior Recognition Day, to them, the scholarships they receive are merely a name on a piece of paper. But to those of us fortunate enough to have been blessed with their presence in our lives, they are so very, very much more. Thank you, board, for your time and allowing me to share this. Do I have anything left in my 3 minutes? Just another thing, in the fall, the Honor Society went and planted trees. Heather's daughter Taylor went with me. It's probably the best trip we ever took. We're going again April 25th. So this is an open invitation. Anybody that wants to join us, we will be in our Metro Parks this time. We love to have you, and this will be my first trip since COVID. I'm combining my honor students with my special ed students, and I can't wait to share the pictures with you. So we're really excited. But anyway, I hope you guys can do something. April 25th.
Can you send out invites to the board?
I would be happy to. And I'll let that up to you guys too.
Coffee thing.
Coffee. It's great. It's like the best. It's really nice to be able to look at something and think it's going to be there long after we're all done. So we're really excited. I kind of pushed for it to be Garfield, and somebody actually listened. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We have also the invitation for us to join our scholars in making a difference in our community. With the scholars within the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, our next regular board meeting for the Garfield Heights City School District will be on Monday, April 11th at the Garfield Heights High School at 6 p.m. At this time, can I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? So moved. Mr. Saluka, that was moved by Ms. King and second by Mr. Julie. Can I have roll call, please?
Ms. King?
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Morrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Daniel?
Yes. Thank you, meeting adjourned.